Okay, so this is the hafting video for the Snyders point. I'm going to be using pecan. This is just a stick that I split in half. Started out like this. Split in half. Whittled down. Took the bark off and kind of flattened the sides a little bit. Carve this out. Now you can carve this out without splitting it, but it's so much easier to open it up and carve it out, especially with stone tools. And I have seen museum pieces that have split handles like this. So I just carved that opening out so this would fit in there. I usually don't go too far above the notches with the wood. I'll be wrapping mainly around the bottom here and here, and I'll be using this hot melt mastic that I made. It's a gum base and asphaltum combination of the two to glue this in. I'm going to use a lighter and some water down there. So let me just do some windings and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is just some hemp cordage that you can buy at the store for making necklaces and bracelets. I don't know if I mentioned that already. And it's just got a loop in it that I'm gonna pull this string later. I could be using sinew, but this doesn't take as long, and the mastic will be holding it in mainly, so I don't really need this to be really tight. This is just basically so I can keep the halves together. Okay, so when I first fitted this point in, there was a little bit of a separation in the halves. So now that I've got this this cordage wrapped around it, it's really snug. So it's in there pretty good, and the mastic, of course, or the glue, will hold it in better. And then I'll wrap some more windings around this and then cover the whole thing. This whole front will be covered with glue. So let me just heat up that glue and then put some in that notch, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got some glue down in there. Just gonna warm it up some more. Warm up the bottom of this point. Doesn't need to be too hot. Okay, get some water. Push that glue into the seams. It's a little off center, so I'm going to straighten that. It's a little bit too much to this side over here. I want the wood to be the same width as the inside of those notches. We're very close. That way when I tie it, the string will hold very well, hold the point very well. Actually, I think it's best to use plant fiber for knives because they usually get wet, especially when you got to clean them off. And if you use sinew, it can get soft and get loose. So if you use plant fiber for knives, the water doesn't affect the plant fiber as much as it does sinew or rawhide. Okay, so that looks pretty well aligned. Let me get a zoomed out view. Okay, so let me put some more wrappings on here. This time I'm not going to put any loop in it. I'm just going to glue it down with the mastic. Sorry if I'm out of the frame there. So I'm going to cover all of the string with cordage. Just keep repeating this process until it's all covered. Get some water. Spread it out, smooth it down. Make sure I'm pulling that in the correct direction to tighten that cordage. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm just going to make it look a little bit neater. Okay, if I really wanted to be really waterproof, I would put more on here, but I think that's good for now. And that winding around the notches, I probably should have tied that off because I can see some of the cord is getting loose. But once this glue gets cooled down and hardened, it won't make much difference. I just kind of did it quickly for the video. But the important thing is to keep the wrapping away from water. Keep it watertight. And you can just barely see the ears from the original point on there. But that's pretty much it. It's already starting to harden pretty good. Nothing fancy. Just a simple knife. That's it. One more thing on the knives. I think a lot of them were hafted like this onto sticks, but with the Snyders, with the expanding stem, you can also probably tie a piece of cordage or a thong, leather thong on this, and just attach it to your wrist or something for skinning and butchering. I'm not sure exactly how these were used. I'm just kind of guessing on the hafting and all that from what I've done before in the past. But these could be just as easily used like this in the hand for skinning and butchering. The handle, of course, gives you a lot more leverage. So if you're going to be using it a lot, it's a lot less fatiguing. It's much easier. But just for occasional use, you can just hang this on your neck or something. I spent a lot more time on this Snyders than this one. It's also Burlington, raw Burlington. Spend a lot more time trying to get the shape correct. the thinness in the edges. But that's just another thought. I'm not sure exactly how these were used. I haven't seen much on the ceremonialism aspect. But as far as knives go, they, of course, would work very nice as knives. Either, you know, hanging from a piece of cordage or hafted to a stick. I like this design a lot. Okay, that's it.